Hey folks, my name is Randy Piku. I'm an NRA firearms instructor. Okay, we're going to talk today about the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm. It's a very popular carry gun. This particular gun has a Crimson Trace laser on the bottom of it. This is my son's gun. So when I crack this gun open, I don't know what we're going to find, but here we go. First thing you want to do is make sure that the gun is completely unloaded. You drop the magazine, magazine's unloaded. And we'll visually check it in here. I can already see that this gun is really dirty. You can look at my finger and see that it's dirty. But anyway, we want to take it apart. First, we want to take this takedown lever, move it down. Then we're going to release the slide. Then we're going to pull the trigger, and it's going to come apart. And I don't know if you can see that even the parts that are supposed to be bright are black. So this gun is really dirty. We're going to demonstrate how to clean it, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. We're going to take the recoil spring out of the slide assembly. Then we're going to move the barrel a little bit forward, move it up, and take it out of the slide. It is field stripped. Now, all right, first step is that we're going to dry brush every part of this pistol. I'm gonna start with the slide right now, just dry brush it. That will help release any loose particles or loose carbon that may just be sitting on the surface. I wish I had an air compressor here. I would blow it out with an air compressor. Okay, now we'll take the lower, same thing. And you can see this carbon buildup on here. We're going to dry brush it. Probably want to go down the magazine well here too if the gun is that dirty. Okay, now we're going to take the barrel and we're going to dry brush the bore from the rear of the barrel by holding the T-handle here so it can rotate when it goes through the barrel. Probably can't see it in the camera, but when I went through the first time, there was kind of like a powder that came out. That was just carbon that was laying loose on the surface of the bore. All right, now we're going to use a little solvent to start cleaning this thing up. First thing, we're going to stay with the barrel here, and we're going to put a patch on our patch holder. Use some Hoppe's number 9 bore solvent. Saturate that patch pretty good. And we're going to run that patch through the bore. Well, that's pretty surprising to me. It's not as dirty as I thought. The bore's not. But we're really not trying to clean it right now anyway. We're just trying to saturate the inside of that barrel with solvent. We want to take this same patch that still has the solvent on it. And we'll scrub this as best we can. All right, this feed ramp gets filthy, so you want to make sure that's done. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let it sit there a minute, and then we're going to wet brush it. Let's get the slide here, and we're going to wet brush that slide. Put a little solvent on our brush. You can use a brush designed to clean firearms with. That this one is got 2 ends, or you can just use a toothbrush, works fine, just as long as it's like nylon bristles. And we're going to brush this good. Breech face here, we want to get that good. Okay, we'll set it to the side. Now we're going to take the lower and we're going to wet brush it. I think I'm going to put a little more solvent on here. Paying attention to the rails and the rail guides. That's where your metal-to-metal contact happens. Now we're going to take our cloth. We can use this cloth, and we're going to wipe down and get as much of this solvent out of here as we can get. You can see it's just filthy. Now, it's not dirty to the point of it wouldn't function, but it's getting there. Gun probably should have been cleaned at least 2 times prior to now. You want to take your Q-tip, try to get down into those places that you can't reach with just your hand in the rag there. And you can see how much it's picking up. I mean, this is really, really pretty dirty. Now, I don't want this video to be an hour long, so I am going to just demonstrate how you clean it. It's not as clean as I would want it to be, but for demonstration purpose, you'll keep on going with this. You maybe want to put solvent on it again and rub it down again, brush it down again. Get it to where when you run that Q-tip, it's not just black with carbon like this one is. You want to take the lower. And look at that. That's coming off the lower. The lower is one of the parts of the pistol that doesn't get really grimy. Okay. Go back with a Q-tip, and we're going to, I mean, look at that. Whew. Pretty dirty. All right, the barrel, we're going to scrub here. We're going to scrub the feed ramp. And here behind this lug. Now that we've had this solvent sitting inside the barrel, we're going to run our brush back through. Several times. Then we're going to take a patch. Going back inside the barrel with a clean patch and see what we see. Yeah, remember when I ran that last patch in there, I said it didn't look too bad. Well, when the solvent goes to work inside and dissolves all that buildup, it still didn't look too bad, but it is taking some of the carbon out. Going to do that 2 or 3 times. Go back with a clean patch. You can run it through there again. It's really not that bad. The bore is not that bad. The rest of the gun was. Maybe he cleaned the barrel. I don't know. But when you look at a rag like this, that gun was very, very dirty. And we're going to take a little bit of Hoppe's lubricating oil. We're going to put it in these channels here, just a drop, maybe a drop in the back, drop here, drop here. We're going to go to the lower, put a drop of oil here. Anywhere you see a bare metal, where metal is meeting metal. You don't want to put oil down in here, do all that. That'll just collect grime. Once you've done that, first we'll take our Q-tip and see if we can spread some of this around. Really hard to get in there. We'll take a patch, and these little picks, sometimes they come in handy because you can use a patch. It works sometimes better than the Q-tip does, because it goes really into the crevices. And removing all that excess oil is what you're doing here. Okay. Okay, and you can also take the lower and remove any excess oil that's on that. And we have one more pass through the bore to put some lubrication on that bore. Again, we'll take a another patch, put a little oil on there. Take the barrel, hit it from the rear, pass it through a couple of times, and all you're doing here is just putting a little film of oil inside the barrel that's going to protect it from rusting, especially if you're going to store it. Okay, now we're ready to put this thing back together. You know, this gun was so dirty, I would maybe take this recoil spring and at least wipe it down with your rag. Okay, we're going to reassemble this M&P shield. First thing you do is put your barrel back in position here. And get your recoil spring. Put it in the slot there, and you have a little cut here I'm looking for, and you know what? This M&P shield doesn't have that, so you're going to seat it all the way down. A lot of semis have a little concave area that it sits in. If it's got that, I can barely see it. But anyway, you can tell when it's snug down to the bottom. That's where it needs to be. All right. Now we're going to reassemble the slide assembly to the lower. And so you're going to take the slide, you're going to lock it back. You're going to push that release lever up. You're going to release the slide. Everything seems to function right. We're going to put the magazine, empty magazine, back into the gun. Make sure that it holds the gun open when it's not loaded. And I think we're in good shape. Okay, that's how to clean an M&P Shield 9mm pistol. And I want to repeat again, I don't think this pistol is completely clean. Should have went a little longer. The video would have been a lot longer, and so we will clean this gun again before we put it back into use.